Joining us now via Zoom for more on the unrest across the country is Alvin Tillery, political science professor and director of the Center for the Study of Diversity and Democracy at Northwestern University. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, I guess the question, I don't even know if it's a question. I'd say the thought is the anger that is boiling over. You heard the governor of Minnesota saying that this is not the way you go about it. But I guess the question is then what is the right way to go about it after you've seen all of these videos and you've had all of these anger over the years, but more recently, what do you say to all the protesters who are out there demonstrating in such a way?
Well, as an expert on protests, what I know is that protests are a fundamental part of democracies, and sometimes they can be done peacefully, but oftentimes, many times, they're done in ways that involve property damage and some violence. And so we have to come to view protests as a normal range of behaviors in democratic societies, particularly when there are breakdowns of institutions. And we can never forget that we are a nation born of riotous, violent protests. That's the reality of our founding.
And we hear, and a lot of people have been taking to social media and quoting different experts, political science, people have studied in political science, being Frederick Douglass. You hear a lot about James Baldwin. So these are issues that have lived in this country, that this country has been born on. So this is nothing new.
Well, the reality is that more than 50 years ago, the Kerner Commission looked at what they called the civil unrest of the 1968 year. And what they said is that these protests were, in 1968, were a function of America being two societies, one white, one black, separate and unequal. And I think part of what you're seeing with the uprisings across America in response to Mr. Floyd's death is that we have not fixed the inequalities that the Kerner Commission pointed us to more than 50 years ago. Moreover, we now have generational change. If you look at the multiracial crowd in these uprisings, we see millennial and Gen Z Americans who feel disenfranchised. They are frustrated by the pace of change. They are outraged by racial inequalities. They're outraged by class inequalities. And they're taken to the streets because they don't believe that the democratic system serves their purposes and has worked to make America a better place. And that's the reality of what we're facing.
And that does get to a wider view. The death of George Floyd, this isn't the reason for all of these protests. It is the flashpoint, just like we've had so many times in the past. It is the flashpoint that then boils over from a pot that's been simmering for a very long time.
Exactly. And let's be real. We've had Americans in their houses under quarantine for more than 2 months in most of the country. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed just what I said earlier, that we've never fixed the racial and class inequalities that the Kerner Commission and other experts have pointed us to for generations. And so what are these young people to do when they need to express frustration? Now, I'm not condoning violence or property damage, but I also think that to some extent, when issues of race come on the table, we have an automatic script that we expect every protest to look like what Miss Rosa did or what Dr. King did. And that was a very exceptional and rare type of protest. That is not the modal American protest. We just need to rewind 3 weeks to when mostly white armed men were storming state houses in places like Michigan and Tennessee because they didn't want to wear a mask. That is a much more normal range of American protest. The black protest tradition, predicated on nonviolence, is a tradition that won in the 1960s. But what we're watching now is with these multiracial crowds of young people is that there's no one really on the ground to instantiate that type of protest. And so we're getting into a more normal range here. And so in order to make things better, the authorities in power at B have to make things better. That's the bottom line.
And so where do we go from here? That I guess will be my next question.
Where we go from here is taking the very eloquent, insightful analyses of the problem provided by Governor Walz, provided by Mayor Frey, and we translate that finally into national action. What are the prospects for that? They're limited because we have at least one party in power and perhaps many in the other minority party who are committed to doing things the way that they've been done for generations, and they don't have the vision to address these concerns. A lot of it's about managing capitalism and the way that we've done that historically. So essentially what we see playing out are the same issues that are playing out in our political campaigns. Do we want a fundamental reformation of our system that addresses racial, gender, class inequalities, or do we want to tinker around the margins? And I'm not sure what the right answer is, but the young people that we're seeing in the streets are tired of waiting for old people tinkering.
All right, Professor Alvin Tillery from Northwestern, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your time. Hopefully we can have you back on.
Thank you for your insight.